And welcome back, everybody, to another live stream repair. We're going to try to knock a few more pods out here before I run out to dinner with the folks. I got some egg, got some protein in me, so got a little bit of energy to keep going for a little bit. We left off wrapping up Tim's, so let's make sure that our stream is going well, first of all. Looks okay. Looks okay. Okay. Yeah. Let's get Tim's put away. And we've got 2 from James that we need to take care of. So let's inform James that their HomePod is getting worked on now, and then we'll crack it open and start. Let's see. By the way, oh, interesting. Yeah. So, I was given 2 original HomePods by a programmer friend. He described the loud pop error. Very loud popping sounds, loud enough that his wife told him to get rid of them. That's funny. Yeah, so it looks like there aren't really any other issues with these than the popping. So we're going to take a look. More than likely, we're going to get them new filters and Schottky diodes, so they won't need to worry about any DC offset or power issues from those parts for quite a long time. Oh yeah, we gotta get their name up on the screen. So there we go. Okay. Number 1. Alright, let's give these a symptom check. We're listening for a loud pop right before it plays the setup tone, because it's going to play the setup tone right as soon as that amp turns on. And then we'll listen for another pop when we unplug it from power. So I didn't hear any popping, but the kind of felt like there was a lack of bass there. Like, it wasn't completely gone, but it definitely didn't seem as loud as it normally is. Let's check the other one here. Yeah, I mean, not really hearing anything of concern. So I think what we'll do is we're gonna plug these into power and leave them set to the side, plugged in for a while, and see if they maybe start misbehaving then. So that'll buy us a little more time to work on these, and we can move on to a couple other ones while those ones warm up and hopefully reproduce a couple issues for us. Okay. Those are powering back up behind us. Let's work on a few more for now, and if we hear anything go awry with either of those behind us, then we'll snatch them up and take a look. Okay, that actually sounded pretty fine. I know I was saying earlier it sounded like the bass might have been a little weak, but I'm probably just not used to how they normally sound in this part of my room on my desk in this specific area. It's probably... well, it doesn't matter. We're going to get those taken apart at some point, and we will visually confirm that our subwoofers are still good and see if there's anything wrong with them. Can they play a click or a noise during the startup sound, or do they lock each other out? So I think I understand your question. If it's factory reset, when you plug it into power, and it starts up, it's going to, if it does have a pop, it's going to be right before it plays that setup tone. So it's you can sometimes you can end up just missing it entirely. But you can also listen when you unplug it from power shortly after it finishes playing that setup tone. You can listen for another pop then too. I'm not sure what you mean by them locking each other out, though. Okay, so this one's from Jim. Jim James. Got a lot of Jim and Jameses today. So this one is a different James than the two that we were just looking at. Let's find their email. Alright, so they've got, this one has no power. Let's get that up on the screen. Alright. And then let's do a quick symptoms check. Oh, actually, let's let them know that they're here and we're working on them now. Okay. Jim James has been notified. Let's check their symptoms and get started on fixing something here. Gotcha. So if, let's just say hypothetically, if your HomePod's caps were so bad that it was causing death farts, and you managed to factory reset it, if that offset triggers a death fart, the death fart supersedes anything else that the pod is doing, because it seems to be some sort of hard-coded behavior in something on the amp. I think it's the amp chip or the DAC, and it forces a restart of the whole system. So if it was like playing the setup chime and it farted in the middle of it, it's 100% going to interrupt the startup chime, fart, and restart again. If the DC offset is not to the point where it's already triggering death farts, then you can certainly still hear the popping sound right as the amp turns on, right before that setup tone plays. But it's not gonna... Timing-wise, the HomePod has to wait for the amp to actually be on and ready before it actually plays the sound. So I think in theory, you're always going to hear, if it does have a pop, it's going to pop, and it's not going to pop while it's playing the setup tone. It's always going to be right before it plays that setup tone. Alright, so we've got no power, no response, no signs of life here. Our kilowatt says that we are pulling 5 watts of power from the wall. So that looks like a pretty typical diode failure to me. But let's get it taken apart and find out. And let's get ourselves zoomed in. Here we go. Yeah, I eventually got pretty used to the popping noise with mine. That doesn't really necessarily perk up my ears every time I hear it anymore. But other audio anomalies that sound similar to HomePod issues definitely give me that little ear perk. and I'll be like, did a HomePod just crackle? Did I just hear a brief blurp? Or was that just one of the cats jumping off the cat tree? Oh, I forgot we're disassembling. I keep forgetting to update that. The little doohickey up in the right hand corner here. Helps people more easily scrub through my live streams so they can hone in on a specific section if they want. Luckily, I haven't had any issues with my cats damaging any of my HomePods. Granted, I think I have them all in places where they can't really reach them. However, woofer's good. My 27-inch iMac that I got for free from work, because they were just throwing it away. It's the 27-inch iMac with like the 2K display, I think, like 1440p or something like that. 4th gen i7, I think. Yeah, it's a pretty decent machine. A cat's got into my room one day, and I don't know how, but they knocked the 27-inch iMac off of my desk, which pulled everything else off of my desk with it, because of course I've got all my cables managed and tied together, so if one thing gets ripped off the desk, it's going to pull a lot of other stuff with it. It ended up cracking the glass on that iMac. Surprisingly, that was the only damage, though. Everything else survived, and I'm still using that iMac. Of course. That screw's stripped. Here we go. You're coming out. Oh. Broken screw. Cool. why Apple felt the need to inconsistently use thread locker that is so strong that it breaks the screws before it lets you take them out, God only knows. Because like all the other 3 screws came out no problem, but then you get one that's just like super glued in there. I don't even... Where's my... Oh, here we go. Okay, cool. We're going to need that in a minute. Same Sophie, except it's only 3 p.m. here. Oh boy, screw extraction. So here we go. First thing I want to do before we attempt any repairs on this board is we need to take care of that. So that's your normal screw, and that's what happens when they use their thread locker. It breaks. So what can we do about this? Well, as I said, I want to try to fix this first, because if we end up damaging this board trying to replace or remove this screw and stud, then well, then it would suck, because we would have spent all that time and effort repairing the board and then just to turn around and break it for something silly. So let's try to fix this first, and my plan of action is very simply going to be ripping this stud out of the board and then putting a new one in. Because, well, if it was this one, that would be fine. I would just try to extract the screw from the stud, but unfortunately it's the screw that's in between the 2 tall electro caps there, so we don't have the luxury of the room to afford there. So we're just going to go straight to trying to rip the stud out of the board. And I'm going to need something a little grippier, actually. And I wish I knew where my vice grips were. I could have swore I brought those in. Yes! Oh, we're saved. Okay. So we need to size it up. Of course. That's buggered up, so we gotta... There we go. And then we want to be really careful. If you're doing this yourself, you want to make sure you're not about to break off a whole bunch of surface mount components on the board right next to your stud as you do this. Okay, so we're pretty lucky on this one because there really isn't anything surface mount close by that we're gonna risk breaking. But if it was like this one over here, you've got all this stuff here. If it was this one, or this one, it's not as bad, but yeah, we got a little bit of a break here. So we're just gonna spin this And if that just comes off, that's okay. We'll just pop this back on there with a little more grip. And then try again. We're going to do a twisting motion. We don't want to pry it off at an angle. We want to twist it. And that's going to minimize any damage to the board and hopefully keep, like you see here, we've still got the silver ring around on the board. That means that we didn't damage anything and we got this off in one piece. And we didn't rip off any of the board with it. So that is nice and cleanly removed. Here's the old ugly bastard. And now we need to extract ourselves a new stud. So I'm going to grab the parts board. Oh boy. Yeah, there's no chance I'm bringing this one ever back to life. Yeah, I've picked quite a few parts off this one by now. So it's the same dealio here as removing the broken one. We're going to vise onto this bad boy. And then we're going to twist it off. And then we can just pop that into our hole. If I have any glue, I'd like to glue it in place, but if not, that's okay. I can stick a little solder on there to hold it. Honestly, if you make this, like if this happens to you, if you end up accidentally breaking a screw off inside of your amp board here for the power supply, I would be, if I was you, I would probably just not risk it and just leave it there and just ride with only 3 of the 4 screws in your power supply. Just because of the risk that you take. There's so much you could break and damage trying to fix this. So I do not recommend trying it yourself unless you feel absolutely confident. Hey, if you do it yourself and if you break it and you want to send it in for me to fix it, I'll do it for a couple bucks. That's easy for us. And we can we've got the ability to make a few mistakes if we do. We've got spare parts. But there you go. Stud is in. If we want, it's going to be a little ugly, but it's going to be perfectly functional. And what we're going to do is we're going to stick a little solder on there just to make sure it doesn't go anywhere when we're screwing the power supply back in. Nope, you turn off. We don't need you. Why is that screw even that overly long? Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe they were imagining the possibility of the screw shaking loose over time, so they figured more length, more time for it to take to shake itself loose. There's no chance in hell with the thread locker they used here. Those things are never shaking themselves loose. I'm ugly and I'm proud. I'm ugly and I'm proud. I'm ugly and I'm proud. Okay, is that going anywhere? Nope. Alright, so as I said, it's not ugly, or it's not it's not pretty, but it's functional. So now that we are where we should have been like 10 minutes ago, let us move on to our diagnosis for the issue this was sent in for, which is no power. If we move on over to our Schottky barrier diode over here, the part that usually fails and causes no power, right there, we can see it's got a date code of 1748K, which matches what we see every time this diode fails. Either that or 1746K. So, let's just confirm really quick with our multimeter that it's dead. It's in continuity mode, so if it beeps, then that means we've got continuity or a short. And yep, that diode is dead. And the battery for my multimeter soon to be too. And now we can fix it. And there we go. Let's pop a new one on there. All right. Okay, let's give this a sec to cool off, and then we'll see if it works. First up, excuse you, a logic cable so we can connect a logic board to our amplifier, because otherwise this thing isn't going to know what to do with itself. Power supply so that it can power on, if, assuming we fixed it. Subwoofer. Let's zoom out a little bit really quick. Got a subwoofer here, which has a connection to the multimeter on the screen on the bottom left there. So we can check this amp for any DC offset while we've got it here. Logic board. And last but not least, some power. And there we go. All right. So we've got a pretty good looking offset there of less than 1 millivolt. We've got no issues with the sound, and obviously it powered on fine. So this one looks like it's ready to put back together. And let's get back up close. Yes, Diodes Incorporated, I'd like 1 million of your finest broken diodes, please. And they'll be like, yeah, well, we don't do that. And I'll just be like, okay, can you just send me a bunch of the ones with date codes 1746K through 1748K for me? Thanks. That'll be good enough. And then they'll be like, and then they'll just explode. And then, yeah, we win. I don't know what we win, but... But you did it before with the HomePod idiots. Have I ever dropped one of those black plastic screw cover pieces and it actually fell exactly into the slot on the basket? I don't think so. What's it got? Alright.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet. I'm having trouble connecting to...
Very good. Volume buttons light up nice and even. Sounds just fine. Obviously it powered on just fine. So this one with no power from James is all fixed up and ready to go. I think I'm gonna take another break here. See if we'll be back on later tonight to knock out a couple more. If not, then tomorrow, of course. Thank you guys all for dropping by. If you're looking for more info on HomePod repairs, check out the website nixfix.com, be it looking for self-service repair or mailing it into the channel to be fixed here. I'll catch you guys again soon.